back all that was stolen.
Jesus is arrested. There's some things that have arrested us. There's some things that we've been caught in the web of. There was a prisoner, hear this, who was condemned to life in prison. Just think about that for a minute. Then one day, something amazing happened. The guard came and opened. You are free to go. Someone else is taking your place, said the guard. You've done a crime. You committed a crime. And here it is, you want to finish your sentence. But they're saying in the middle of your sentence, you're free to go. You say, wait, hold up, this doesn't make sense. He says, no, you're free to go. Listen. And here's where we err oftentimes. We ask the question, how can this be? How can this be? I'm still guilty. I've still done the wrong. I'm here to do my time. What do you mean? I'm free. He says, you're free to go. Your debt has been paid. You are free to leave. Think about that. Your debt has been paid. You're free to leave. Oftentimes, sickness attacks our bodies. Oftentimes, we get in the middle of, I've already paid the price for your sickness. I've already taken the stripes for every pain that you're encountering right now. You're free. The prisoner decided not to leave. Oftentimes, certain things entangle us. We get entangled into and we don't want to leave. Why? Because it's gratifying. Why? Because this is all I've known. Why? Because this is what I'm accustomed to. He decided not to leave. There are a lot of places in life that we choose not to leave. And then oftentimes we wonder, say, God, when will you deliver? God said, in your situation, denouncing that God is God. When your circumstance might be so horrific, maybe it's financial, maybe it's emotional, and you're saying, God, I can't be delivered from this. It's almost like denying Christ. When you think that there's no way out, he says, I always make ways of escape. When you think that this is your destiny, amen, and this is what you're set to do, come on, you're pretty much saying, just like Peter here, God, you ain't God. Suddenly is suddenly. You don't know when it's going to happen. You don't plan it. Come on now, all you got to do is everything God has called you to do. You've got to do A, B, C, and D. Line upon line, precept upon precept. Start praying, start believing. Come on, start singing your hymns. Come on, and there's coming a suddenly. And suddenly there came a great earthquake, so that the foundations of the prison house were shaken, and immediately all the doors were open. My change is soon to come. My suddenly is here. You can't hold arenas. God will show you, give you a glimpse of who you are. Because every now and again you encounter a midnight. Every now and again it gets dark and you forget. You know you got all this trapped and locked on the inside of you. But you say, God, I know there's a platform. I know there's a stage. I know there's some place I'm to display. What does he mean when he says, you will search for me but not find me? And you cannot go where I'm going. In this particular dispensation of time, it was not clear to them exactly what was taking place. And I'll say the same for us in this hour. We don't know everything. What does God mean by this? This has transpired in my life. God, what do you mean by that? Amen. But one thing I know is for sure. One thing I know that's certain. He says, I will not leave you nor forsake you. Now he's talking about his spirit. He says, I'm releasing, I'm sending the comforter. And until that trumpet sounds, he's with you. Amen. You're not going to always feel him. He says, but seek me and you'll find me. Amen. Amen. When in times of difficulty, in midnight scenarios, when it's dark, you can't feel, it gets cold at midnight. People treating you bad. People making you feel less than. God is saying, begin to pray. Because men ought to always pray and not faint. Amen. Oftentimes this is what we do. We faint and we don't pray. He says, do the opposite. Rearrange it. He says, pray and don't faint. Amen. Come on now. You got to build yourself up on your most holy faith. Every time you pray, you're building yourself. Understand what prayer is doing. Come on, when you face your midnight, come on, because the enemy can't hold you in this place that you've been. You can't stay there. Amen. God is saying, listen, this time next month, I'm looking for advancement. This time next month, I want to see you have come out of 2 or 3 prisons. Amen. And oftentimes the prison is in your mind. Come on now. Oftentimes you're your worst enemy. You're your worst critic. You're the one who can't forgive yourself. You're the one that's saying, I'm not qualified. Ain't nobody else saying it. People are worried and concerned about their own selves. But it's you. Come on, it's you. It's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to pray. And after I've prayed, I'm going to start singing. And after I continue to sing, guess what? The walls are coming down.
Amen.
Come on now. Then I'm going to start marching around some stuff. I'm going to start claiming some stuff. Amen. Come on now. This ain't my prison. This is not my home. This is not my address. Amen. It's time to come out of certain places. It's time now to pray and ask God for revelation. It's time now to pray and ask God for his direction. Because oftentimes when we're just going about life, wandering aimlessly, we're literally trapped, caged in, just walking around. Can you just imagine a box just moving around? And you're talking about, Lord, enlarge my territory. He said, well, come out the box first. God, enlarge my territory. He says, come out the prison first. Come out of captivity first. Amen. He says, I've already enlarged your territory. You just got to step out. Now that speaks to your faith. Amen. God said it's time to step out on faith. There's some things that, listen, look impossible, seem unachievable. But God is saying, step out on faith. You say, I don't have the faith. God is saying, faith comes by hearing. You said you need faith. You want faith. I don't have faith. God is saying, hear my word, and you'll hear faith. Stand back on the promises. Amen. And believe the promises. Amen. And you'll watch change.
Let's take back all that was stolen from me, all that was promised to be. Let's start with my family. I'm not playing. No more just sitting around.